to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in absolutely all your ways, and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, that you're still buying extra food, that you're still stocking up on water, that you're still stocking up on seeds, trying to get those organic seeds, trying to grow some food for yourselves, and just getting into the rhythm of doing that, beloveds, because we're kind of in a lull before the storm. You know, everything seems like it's just normal. Okay, we're having lockdowns. People are kind of in this, psychology of like, this is the new normal. But much worse is coming, beloveds. And so prepare yourselves, even if, you can start putting a little physical cash on the side somewhere. These are the times we live in. And if you're in Babylon and you can buy gold and silver, I hope you're still investing in that. Here in Africa, which is crazy, like in Kenya, you can't own gold as a citizen. You can only have a certificate or something from Babylon, unless you do it, chini ya maji, which they mean like underwater, stories for other days. Beloveds, it is so important that we now start to learn the art of spiritual movement, the art of moving spiritually, which is one of the greatest gifts that has been robbed from us and taken from us. But before I go into that, a special shout out to my Patreon family. Absolutely appreciate, love all of you for supporting us on that platform. And we also have started a relocation service called Karibu Nyumbani. Karibu Nyumbani basically means welcome home in Kiswahili, where we are helping those who seriously want to move but have no idea where to start with that process. But back to the art of spiritual movement. Beloveds, a lot of us are still moving too much physically, and that is how Babylon is going to get us. Because seriously, beloveds, there's a special message that the Ancient Ones released. I don't know if it's been released on this platform yet, where, they're talking about how time is running out. And those few of us, who are still upholding the Babylon system in Babylon through their minds and their energy, eventually there's no more time for them. Like, they're going to just be left to fall with Babylon, and, sadly and unfortunately. But it is so important, beloveds, because time is running out and we are reaching that end game scenario. They've been talking about it. They've been programming the zombie apocalypse and all this crazy stuff. And the experiment is still going on. It's falling apart at the seams, but, there's massive censorship going on. So there's so much that's happening, beloveds. But we're reaching that end point. And a lot of people are telling me, I'm in Babylon, I have no way to leave. How is it going to happen? And then there's some other people who have gotten in touch and they've said they've had dreams that they walked through this, tunnel and found themselves in Zion, or they somehow happened to be rescued. And that's why I'm saying, beloveds, because a lot of you are like, we don't have the money, we don't have this, we don't have that. Physically, you may not have, anything, but spiritually, you have everything. And that's why you have to start learning the art of spiritual movement, beloveds, the art of moving spiritually already, which is why don't take for granted the creation of vision boards and having your children create vision boards with their innocent, pure power, Us, there's some barriers which will be telling, that can't happen, this can't happen, tone the vision down. But the art of creating the vision boards, even though, of a dream place, even if you don't think you'll move to Africa or whatever, in these times of lockdown, make sure that you're using the spiritual energy of you, your spouse, and everyone in your family to get out spiritually and mentally, and to create another future, an alternative reality for yourselves, because you have the power to do that. Don't stop helping Babylon create their world with your fears and, oh my God, they're doing this, and oh my God, they're doing that, and over focus on them. It's good to know what Babylon is doing, like the weather forecast. which is, they're predicting things, but it's not written in stone. But it's more important to spend the majority of your time envisioning a new future for yourself. Ask your children to create vision boards, or to paint, or to even write stories, whatever their gifting is, of the future they see, of the paradise they would want to live in, and then stick that up on their wall, and whenever they're doing their meditations or their prayers, may they pray for that to come and manifest. This is how we all engage our powers, beloveds, because it's all hands on deck right now. It can't be just the parents trying to get out of Babylon and trying to figure it out and whispering behind the children's back. Our children now are so sensitive. They're on another level. They're like ancient souls, many of them. Many of them are ancestors returned. And so, which is why it's so funny, because here in Kenya, like, there's this culture of many mothers calling their children mom and dad, which is kind of interesting because there has been a return of these ancestor stories for the days. But it is so important to learn the art of spiritually moving. Start to create your new reality, even if you have no option, even if you've lost your job, your bank account is gone. Don't now try to create the dream of you getting another job, you getting this, but push beyond that to you escaping, you having this wonderful life. What would your life look like if you had all the resources at your disposal? And I'm here to tell you, you do have all the resources at your disposal, mentally and spiritually. Learn to use your mental power for yourself. Learn to use your mental power to create your reality instead of giving your energy to others. Because when you say, Jesus help me with this, energy is going to Jesus and you don't even know exactly what entity you're praying to. So it is so critical in this season, beloveds, to learn the art of spiritual movement. And that means controlling your thoughts, controlling your mind, expanding your mind. Because some people just need to get out of their own mental prison that has been built for them, but they've helped build. And they've got the key, but they've padlocked themselves in. And you see it, because Babylon says jump 2 feet high. The majority of the world jumps 2 feet high. And those who don't are looked at like they're crazy. These are the seasons and times we're living in. And many won't have. You see, your physical options will come from your visioning and dreaming that you do now. So as much as you're investing time in stocking up on food, stocking up on water, trying to find an off-grid home, either where you are in the country that you're out, trying to relocate, you should be spending as equal amount of time in creating your escape. If you're in a situation where you want to leave but you can't, start to act like you're leaving. I mean, these are the things that made the prosperity gospel so massive in the last 2 decades. Is they figured this mental science. It's like the whole secret thing. But it's so much deeper than that, beloveds. But there is so many resources at your disposal spiritually. But they try and cripple you physically so you don't even knock and open that door. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Wake Up Africa, where we're talking about the art of spiritual movement and why it's absolutely critical that you start to relocate, move to safety spiritually, that you see yourself escaping the snares of Babylon spiritually, and it will happen physically. And we need to start creating these routes for ourselves, creating that alternative world for ourselves. Where do you see yourself living? What do you see yourself doing? In a peaceful world, where would you be? What would you be doing? I hope you wouldn't be in a city in Babylon. I hope you'd want to be out in nature somewhere. Because we're creating the new. We may not know exactly what that new will look like, but there's a lot of promptings that are happening inside of us. There's so much that Spirit wants us to imagine and envision. And beloveds, it's like when I moved to Mount Zion. It literally took me 4 months. It was something that had been in my spirit for so long, where I was like, I need to get out of the city. I need to get out of the city. I kept talking about it. And then the minute lockdown happened, I was in the Gambia. And many, many wonderful spiritual things happened there. And then I moved back to Kenya. And I was like, I need to move to Mount Zion. I started looking online. I found a piece of property that I could not necessarily afford at that time. I didn't even have a dime to my name at that time. And I was living in a super expensive apartment, just, crazy lifestyle. And I started and I saw this apartment and I was like, this is the one. Used to look at the pictures every day. And then we were in lockdown for like 2 months. The minute that lockdown happened, ended, beloveds, I drove to Nyanyuki and I looked at the property and I was like, this is the one. Actually, the first time I drove and I got distracted and went to the wrong one. So I had to drive again. Long story. But when I saw that property, I was like, this is the one. I didn't even have the $50,000, $60,000 that I needed to pay for it. I didn't even have that, beloveds. And I went back and I started looking for a place I could rent. I got in touch with the lady. We agreed on an agreement. And even though there were so many butterflies in my stomach, I went ahead and let me tell you, on the day of signing, 2 days before that, I got the money for the deposit. And this isn't some religious thing. This is like I chanted and prayed and I really wanted this from my gut. And I could tell that spirit was moving with me. And so I had to put aside, for me, the greatest battle was putting aside my doubt of how and trying to figure out how it was going to happen. And it was a battle, beloveds. I didn't get the rest of the money and I had to take a loan and all these things till the last day. But I can stand here and testify that it happened spiritually first. It was something that I knew I wanted spiritually so badly. I wanted to move to Mount Zion. I wanted my own little piece of land. I wanted to start growing my own food. I wanted to build my off-grid home. I knew it spiritually from the bottom of my heart. And I didn't create a physical vision board, but I did create a mental one. And I used to, imagine what my life would be like. And it's totally different from what I'd imagined. I found this beautiful place to rent, etc., etc. That's my testimony, beloveds. That's what happened to me. So when I stand here and I say the art of spiritual movement, I'm serious. And you know what? That has given me more confidence now. And so many other things are just happening and coming into my life. So many wonderful things that I actually thought I wasn't going to be doing YouTube anymore. Because certain doors had to shut so that certain doors would open. But this is part of my calling, So stories for other days. But I just wanted to share my testimony. So when I say the art of spiritual movement, make that your priority, beloveds, especially because I get so many emails from people who say they have no options, they have no possibilities, they have no way of doing this and no way of doing that, they have no money. But spiritually, you have everything and you can start to use that. And that's how the signs and wonders will happen in your life and the miracles will happen in your life. Don't give someone else your power to perform miracles in your life when you have all the power you need to do that for yourself. Let me know if you want me to get any deeper on this. The art of spiritual movement, beloveds. Dreaming about things, envisioning things, meditating on things, writing things down. Give more power and more energy to your rituals, your meditation and your prayer, and your life must change. Whether you're broke, whether you're rich, your life must change. And that's the secret they've been keeping from you. They try and make it seem like it's so trivial, but it's absolutely everything. And that's why they're so keen on making sure that if you get into their religious psychosis, that you're praying to their gods. But those are definitely stories for other days. Tuko pamoja.